The Andy McGovern Story by Tony Fallon. Andy McGovern lives in Leitrim in a village called Sunnamore, and strangers and friends are always welcome at his front door. He was born on a farm in Corneary with turkeys, hens and cows, and to keep bacon on the table they kept a pair of sows. The year he was almost 3 years old, on Christmas Day, there was great sorrow in the house. His granny passed away. He remembers other Christmases and the Wren Boys' tradition, one trying to better the other with their musical exhibition. He went to school in the countryside, for he was not a townie. It was the very same one as my good friend Patrick Downey. One day, after a savage beating by the teacher with the leather, he just walked out of the school and spent the day in the heather. For standing up for his rights, he was considered a courageous chap, and nobody ever in that school again was beaten by that strap. Summer days were spent running around the farm in bare feet. I don't think they'd go in bare ones now. Irish kids are too elite. He served mass almost every Sunday, and also for the fees, and he and Pat Downey often played little tricks on the priest. He remembers well 47 and the winter and that terrible snowstorm, when for 7 weeks your only thought was being fed and warm. He worked for the county council in winter and a quarry in the spring, and with £3 10 shillings in his pocket, he thought he was a king. But he also wanted some excitement, and he wound up in a London bar. He and others were packed like sardines in a Holyhead railroad car. The pay was even better in that bar, and the thrice daily he was fed, and he only had to go upstairs for a warm bed. Later on from McAlpine's, he learned to carry hods full of bricks, which were much heavier than home in Leitrim, carrying sticks. He saw other Irishmen being exploited by their so-called friends, and they are living homeless now in London, facing lonely ends. When Christmas home on holiday, he met young Bridgie Grant, who lived 3 miles down the road from his uncle and his aunt. Next year, when she arrived in London, he took her out to a dance. They were meant for each other and began a lifetime of romance. But Ireland was still calling, and with saved up cash in hand, they went back to Bridgie's place and got her family's land. But running a small farm is not easy in the land of the Gael. Soon he was working overseas in a new power plant in Wales. Back again shortly in Leitrim, he went on a spending spree, went over to Cavan one day and bought a brand new JCB. Very shortly he became involved in new water schemes as they took water to the houses from the lakes and the streams. Then sickness came to his herd and wiped out his female cattle, but little did he know what he was as he faced another battle. He noticed very often that his right hand was slowly losing power, and after many tests in Dublin hospitals, the progress was very dour. Some doctors were very blunt, while others tried to tell him with ease that he was in the first stages of Motor Neurone Disease. They said he had an average 4 years to live, at the very most 5. The condition was always fatal, and he should not hope to survive. This fine, big, strong man to be so sick, no one ever would have guessed, and with a death sentence hanging over him, he quickly got depressed. Foremost in his thoughts were his 6 young children and dear wife. How could he prepare them all for this huge change of life? With his health slowly deteriorating, he could take on no more new jobs. His hands almost useless to handle all those gears, wheels and knobs. He tried all kinds of remedies, a lured strip and a 7th son, quacks and hacks and impostors, but quick cures there were none. Well, he read about his condition, and he daily prayed to God above, and of course he was surrounded by his family full of love. It's almost 40 years now since that dreaded affliction did arrive, and although it has certainly worsened, he is still happily alive. He is an active advocate for research and is respected and admired. There surely is no way of knowing how many others he has inspired. How this man has accepted this handicap and overcome his fears surely borders on the miraculous and has reduced me to tears. If you want to be inspired by Andy and touched by the gods, read about this stubborn Irishman in his book Against the Odds.